Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today we're going to be doing an Obelisk The Tormentor ABC deck profile. So I'm really excited for this one because this is actually a total throwback to Seto Kaiba himself. In the old days of Yu-Gi-Oh, when Obelisk The Tormentor had just been introduced into Yu-Gi-Oh, he used to use XYZ Dragon Cannon to be able to actually summon out Obelisk The Tormentor by splitting it back into three pieces, tributing all three of them to be able to summon out Obelisk The Tormentor himself. And I'm really excited to actually do this one because the retrain of XYZ Dragon Cannon is actually ABC Dragon Buster. So we're actually just basically upgrading the deck to a new form, which is really amazing. I love the way the deck actually plays. It's very easy to actually summon out Obelisk the Tormentor in this particular build, and it's a really cool throwback to actual Seto Kaiba. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of Notification Squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards like getting your name in the description of every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron along with test hands. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Obelisk the Tormentor. So Obelisk the Tormentor has a really amazing effect. It requires 3 tributes to tribute summon this card, and it must be normal summon. It cannot be normal summon. And this card has the ability, this card's normal summon cannot be negated. And when normal summoned, cards and effects cannot be activated, and neither player can target this card with card effects. Once per turn, during the end phase, if this card was special summoned, send it to the graveyard. And it also has the ability that you can tribute 2 monsters, destroy all monsters your opponent controls, and this card cannot declare an attack the turn you activate this effect. This is a really good card to be able to actually tribute summon out to your side of the field, because if your ABC pieces touch the graveyard, they have different effects, and you can also banish them from the graveyard to actually summon out ABC Dragon Buster, which is pretty good. We then play 3 copies of a Assault Core. A Assault Core has a very unique effect that has the ability that once per turn, you can either target a light machine monster you control and equip this card to that target, or unequip that monster and special summon it back. And a monster equipped with this card is unaffected by your opponent's monster effects. And if this card, also the equipped monster, will be destroyed by battle or by card effect, destroy this card instead. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, or from the field to the graveyard, you get to add 1 Union monster from your graveyard to your hand, which is very, very cool. Now, B-Buster Drake basically does the same thing, except it makes your monster immune to being immune to spell effects. And it also has the ability that this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to add a Union monster from your deck to your hand. And then 3 copies of Sea Crush Wyvern, which makes your monster immune to trap effects, and also has the ability that if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to special summon 1 Union monster from your hand, which is pretty good, because basically if you tribute summon Obelisk using all 3 of these monsters, all 3 of them will go off, which is pretty cool. We then play for the other monsters. We're actually going to be playing in the deck for tech cards to get additional monsters on the field. We're going to be playing 3 copies of Silver Gadget. Silver Gadget is very good because when this card is normal summon, or special summon, you get to special summon 1 level 4 machine monster from your hand. And if this card is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you get to special summon 1 level 4 gadget monster from your deck, except another copy of Silver Gadget, which is always going to be your 3 gold gadgets that you're going to be able to special summon. And this card is the exact same card, except can't special summon out Gold Gadget, which is pretty cool because it gives you 6 additional special summons in the deck to be able to normal summon this card out, then special summon out a copy of A, B, or C, and then link them away or XZ summon them away to be able to go into additional plays. I then play 2 copies of Galaxy Soldier because these cards help me send my copies of my A, B, or C to the graveyard, which is really helpful just to be able to get those monsters into the graveyard to go in for additional plays. And it gets me another monster on the field to be able to summon out my copy of Obelisk, which is really cool. Well, a single copy of Union Driver. Union Driver is a 1-up to me because it has the ability that once per turn, you can either target one face of monster you control and equip this card to that monster, or unequip this card and special summon it back to your side of the field. And if this card is equipped to a monster, would be destroyed by battle by card effect, you destroy this card instead. And then when this card is equipped to a monster, you can banish this equipped card and equip 1 appropriate level 4 Union monster from your deck to that monster. This card's basically a wild card that can be equipped, it can be any Union monster, which is pretty good. And then we play a single copy of Heavy Mech Support Armor. If this card is normal summon, you get to target 1 Union monster in your graveyard and special summon it back to your side of the field, which is pretty good just to be able to get you an additional monster back onto your side of the field. For the hand traps, we're going to be playing just a few in this deck. We're actually only going to be playing 3 copies of Gamma and then a single copy of Driver. Basically, this is here just to stop our opponent when these touch the graveyard, as long as we have a copy of our Driver, and Gamma. We can actually tribute these or get rid of these monsters on our side of the field without fear, because this card can actually stop hand traps, which is really, really nice. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Monster Reborn because it's going to let us revive monsters back from the graveyard, which is very, very helpful in this particular deck. I play a single copy of Upstart Goblin. Upstart Goblin is very helpful in this particular deck, which I will mention, you guys, I did kind of consider in this deck to drop an Upstart Goblin, a gold, and a silver for 3 ash as well, just to give me additional like hand traps in this deck. I did think about that for a little bit. I didn't end up doing it because I wanted to have more monsters in this deck, but the Upstart is kind of up for debate if I was going to drop it with a gold and silver for 3 ash, but it's still really good because it basically makes it a 39 card deck. Play a single copy of Fist of Fate. Fist of Fate is insanely good in this deck because what this card does is this card's activation and effect cannot be negated, and if you control a monster whose original name is Obelisk the Tormentor, negate the effect of one effect monster your opponent controls, and if you do, destroy that monster. And if you do that, for the rest of the turn, this effect of that monster is negated as well, or you negate the effect of monsters that have that monster's name, which is pretty good because it's just really good to be able to stop additional monsters that have that card's name. And if this card is activated during the main phase, you can apply the effect to destroy all spells and traps your opponent controls, which is pretty much a Harpy's Feather Duster, which is really insane. We then play a single copy of Terraforming because you have to get to your copy of Union Hanger. It's so important. Foolish Burial because you need to send the exact piece of the ABC that you need to the graveyard to get your plays rolling. We play 3 copies of Unauthorized Activation, Reactivation. This card's really good because it lets you target a machine monster you control, and you get to equip any machine union monster from your hand or deck to that monster as a union monster, but the equipped monster cannot be special summoned this turn. Really good card in this particular deck just to get you additional plays. 3 copies of Union Hanger, because when this card is activated, you get to add a light machine union monster from your deck to your hand, and then once per turn, if a light machine union monster is normal or special summoned to your field, except during the damage step, you can target one of those monsters and equip one appropriate light machine monster with a different name from your deck to that monster, but the union monster you equipped cannot be special summoned this turn. And then we play 3 copies of Soul Crossing. Soul Crossing basically turns your copy of your Obelisk into a Kaiju, which is very cool to be able to do, to be able to just immediately tribute 3 of your opponent's monsters to summon out your copy of Obelisk the Tormentor, because during the main phase, immediately as this card resolves, you get to tribute summon a Divine Beast monster. And when you do, you get to tribute a monsters your opponent controls, even though you do not control them. So you can tribute all 3 of your opponent's monsters if you want to, which is pretty cool. But if you tribute summon this way, apply the effect to, until the end of the next turn after this card resolves, you can only activate 1 card effect per turn, or 1 card effect each turn, not including the effect of a Divine Beast monsters, which is pretty cool to just be able to instantly be able to tribute out your copy of Obelisk the Tormentor to your side of the field using your opponent's monsters. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 3 copies of ABC Dragon Buster. This card is so important for this particular deck and is a very awesome effect in this particular build, because basically what this card does is it gives you all 3 of the monsters that you need to be able to tribute summon out your copy of Obelisk, which is really cool because it takes an A, B, and a C to summon it, and it must be special summoned from your extract by banishing the above cards you control or from your graveyard, which is what makes it really good to be able to just immediately tribute summon them to be able to summon out Obelisk. They'll all go off, and then you can banish them all from the graveyard to be able to use them to summon out your copy of your ABC Dragon Buster. It also has the ability that once per turn, during either player's turn, you can discard a card to target a card on the field and banish it. And then during your opponent's turn, you can tribute this card and then target one of your banished light machine type monsters, union monsters, and with a different name, and then you special summon those cards, which is pretty cool. And this is a quick effect because it special summons all of the monsters back. So basically you summon back your A, your B, and your C to your side of the field during your opponent's turn, and then when you go back to your turn, you can then tribute all 3 of them to summon Obelisk, and then banish them from the graveyard to summon an additional ABC Dragon Buster, which is really cool. We then play for the Link monsters a single copy of Access Code because it can pop additional cards on the field. Appaloosa is really good because it can give you additional negates, and you can link summon this card very easily. So Yugioh because it helps you dig Obelisk out of the deck because there's no current way to actually search Obelisk. So this card's really good at getting you additional plays to draw cards out of the decks. You draw 4, and then you place 3 from your hand on the bottom of your deck. 1 copy of Unicorn because it spins stuff. 1 copy of Phoenix because it pops spells and traps. And so you never have to go without your copy of your Psy-Frames. You actually play a single copy of Lambda. Lambda lets you basically activate your Psy-Frames even if you control monsters, which is pretty cool. We play a single copy of Platinum Gadget because this card is one of the best extenders in the entire deck because it cannot be used as link material. This turn it's link summon, but during the main phase you can special summon an additional level 4 or lower machine monster from your hand to a zone this card points to. And if this card is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you just special summon a level 4 gadget from your deck, which is really good. Play a single copy of the Bujinki Link Monsters card's pretty good as well because it helps you go into XZ plays. Because if this card is XZ, or if this card is link summon, it has the ability to use one of the following effects. That if an XZ monster this card points to activates its effect, immediately this card resolves. You get to pop a spell or trap your opponent controls. Or if this card is link summon, you can special summon 2 monsters with the same level, 1 from your hand and 1 from your grave, but their effects are negated, and it also has the ability to immediately this card resolves. You get to XZ summon a card. 1 copy of IP Masquerena, because Masquerena basically lets you link summon during your opponent's turn. Giganta X, because you get to add a machine monster from your deck to your hand. That's a level 4, which is pretty good. 1 copy of number 60, because it can double the attack of a monster, which is really good. Or special summon a monster back from the graveyard, which is also very good. And then we play a single copy of Omega, because you do play the Psy-Frame package in this particular deck, so it's very good to be able to rip cards out of your opponent's hand. So that's it for the deck, guys. I really do hope you enjoy it. Like I said about the suggestions earlier, you can drop the Upstart Goblin for either like a Harpy's Feather Duster if you want to. It's something I've been kind of debating on. But with Fist of Fate, I kind of just like to play that card over the copy of Feather Duster. Or you can actually change it out, a silver and a gold gadget, plus the copy of Upstart Goblin. If you feel like you need the hand traps, you can actually change it out for 3 copies of Ash if you do so choose, which is also a good option for you guys as well. But I think currently I really like the build as it stands. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can come part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon in the description below for all those awesome rewards, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.